Hey robot makers, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day so far. I've got my 3D printer on at the moment, so hopefully that's not making too much sound coming through the microphone, and it will stop in about 5 minutes time. It's all part of the show. So, do you know about OttoDIY? And do you want to meet the maker, Camilo? Then this is the show for you. So let's dive straight in. My name is Kevin. Come with me as we build robots, bring them to life with code, and a whole load of fun along the way. Okay, let's get over to our keynote and then we'll meet the maker. Okay, oops, let me just get my slides in order. You're not supposed to see that, that's a secret. Right. Just hitting the rewind button there and we should get the nice picture up. There we go. Okay, he's such a handsome chap, isn't he, Camilo? He's just waiting in the wings at the moment. Right, so let's have a start with this. What is OttoDIY? And it doesn't stand for anything. Otto is just the name and DIY is what you do it yourself. And this is a really, really cool robot. This is one of the first robots I built after SMARS. So it's a 3D printable robot. It's aimed at education and hobbyists like myself. It has a really vibrant community of enthusiasts on Facebook and over on Wikifactory. It runs on Arduino Nano. It's a biped, so it has 2 legs and it can walk. I have one just here. It has a speaker inside, so it can make lots of sounds and beeps and music and things. And it has a whole load of add-ons as well. And it's been designed by Camilo. So let's talk about Camilo himself. So who is this guy? We'll meet him in a second. So he designed this robot. He's an enthusiast like myself. And he uses his skills as a product design engineer working in Shanghai in China for a multinational toy manufacturer. And that's very similar to James Bruton, who's another one of the makers who's sort of in our community. He started out as a toy designer, toy maker, and he's sort of followed a similar path there. So he started at a hackerspace in China. I'm going to try and butcher the name of this, which is Xinjiang, which is where the hackerspace was. And he started to learn and experiment with making DIY robots. That little beepy sound there is a little Tamagotchi thing, or virtual pet. So yes, he experimented, learned about making DIY robots, using microcontrollers, using servos, and 3D printers as well. So as soon as he was experienced, he created this robot called Otto, and started to build the code and making it really easy for children to use, as well as other engineers as well, like you and I. So, where do you get more information about Otto? So if you go to ottodiy.com, you can get the STL files from Thingiverse. You can get the kits and the parts from ottodiy.com as well if you want to buy a sort of ready-made kit. And buying the kits also supports the project and the team over there as well. And they put a load of good, really quality effort into the code, which we'll have a look at in a while. So what can it actually do? It can do a whole load of things. So there's a kit for putting wheels on. The starter kit can walk and dance. The dancing part is really fun. I'd not seen a robot dance until I built OttoDIY. It can avoid obstacles. It's got the usual rangefinder on the front like we have on SMARS. So it's got the ultrasonic rangefinder. It can make sounds. It has a microcontroller, so it can do a whole load of things that you can expand upon. And it has nylon gear motors as well. So unlike the SG90 motors, which quite cheap, you can put the metal gears in as well if you want, but you can just start with a nylon. So they're nice, easy, price-wise, nice, cheap price. There's a kit for eyes as well, so you can have some LED eyes. I really love these myself. It can make the robot really expressive. And then there's a Kit Plus, which has got Bluetooth, low energy version. It's got all the things that the previous ones can do, as well as having those metal gears. So, confession, I broke mine. I was making it dance, and I need to sort of change out the servo that's in there, and that's because it's using one of the nylon ones. I do have some of the metal gear ones as well, so I'm intending to swap that out. And then there's the humanoid one, which has a mouth and it has arms as well, so it can sort of articulate his little arms, or her arms. And there is loads of remixes as well. This is what I absolutely love about Otto. There's so many different things you can do with this. You can change out the heads, you can change out the body, you can change out the arms, you can put different faces on it, you can print them different colours. There's so many different things you can do with it. And the community has shared all this as well, so you can, if it's Christmas, you can have like a Christmas themed one. If it's Halloween, you can have a Halloween themed one. I love that kind of stuff. And then there's the crossovers as well. So there's the Smars Otto crossover. I personally love this one as well. So it's got the head of a Otto and a body of a Smars. So you can see the usual kind of tracks there. But it also has the Otto mouth LEDs as well. And, you know, where you can find more information about this, hinted at that before. So if you go to OttoDIY.com, you can have a look through the instructions and all the guides that are there and purchase a kit. If you go to Thingiverse, you can download the STL files there, and that's how I came across Otto. And I have a whole set next to me, which is already printed out, and this is what I'm just printing at the moment. So the original one I printed was just sort of a solid colour. It was all green, and I wanted to print one that's got a multiple colours to it. So I've got I'll just come to my overhead here. I've got the let's move that bright light out of the way for a second. So yes, I've got the body there, which is all in white, and then we've got the feet that are white, and then over on the other camera, which if I go to this one, nope, not that one, that one there, you can just see I'm printing out an orange head as well. Cool. Okay, so let's just go back to the keynote. So if you like these videos, make sure you like, comment and subscribe as well, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube. That obviously helps grow the channel, helps make me make more interesting videos like this too. So please do that if you can. It doesn't cost anything to you. And just a reminder that we do go live every single Sunday at 7 PM GMT. Sometimes GMT +1 if we're in the summer hours, but that's shortly to end. I think at the end of this month, is it? Yes, so don't forget that we put a live video out, and we also do a midweek video as well, like a pre-recorded one too, which should be a really fun one this week, which is why I've got that Tamagotchi as a bit of foreshadowing. So shall we meet the maker? Let's meet the maker. Let me just make sure I've got everything good to go there, and Camilo is just waiting in the wings there. Hello Camilo, how are you doing?
Hey.
Fantastic.
Very good, and you, man?
Yeah, really good,
thank you. Thanks for the invitation. I'm very excited for this.
Really pleased to meet you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's dive straight in with the first question then. So when did you first get into robotics then?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So like, as you mentioned, my background is not really robotics, like directly. It was very difficult for me to really get into robotics because I'm from Colombia, and at that time it was very complicated to find the parts to start. And this is actually, I will come out with this later, but this is the main factor why people is so afraid of robotics.
Yeah,
it's because when you don't have the things at your hand, then it's when it gets complicated, and when you don't know what to buy, you know. But I was very passionate. Like since I was a child, I always like robots and the series, Transformers, you know, movies, you know, everything that moves with some sort of magic electricity, you know. I always love it. So in my career, I learned a lot about design, which I like a lot, but I always was thinking, oh, I want to add technology, you know, I want to put technology in my products. It was very difficult still, even in a university, with all the resources at hand. There were people that knew about electronics, and they kind of helped me to start a lot, actually. So that was beneficial, always having somebody close. But at that time, making robots, it was super difficult because there was no Arduino, just the basic electronics. It was already complicated, and trying to find some microcontroller that you just hold in your hand and then they break. Yeah, because of the static at that time, they were not meant to. Yeah. You have to be very careful. And then it cost a lot, just a little chip, and then you had to get all the passive components together, and then you had no idea. And then the language, which was C, micro C, and then it was more difficult because you had to activate the pins and so on. So, but even with all those obstacles, the first time I get into robotics was because there was a robotics competition in my country, and I signed up even though I had no idea how to make a robot. But I took it as a challenge. The submission was like, oh, you submit the idea, and we approve, we give you budget and parts. So we passed, and we were like, okay, now we got the parts, and then we got the parts, and we didn't know how to use them. It was fun. It was just a lot of fun. We participated in this tournament, collecting different things. I think I sent you a picture of that first robot, and that was the first robot that design, but it was a teamwork actually. So of course,
Yeah.
kudos to all my team. But yeah, I was the one pushing, and it was fun. It was fun
Yeah.
experience.
Cool. So tell me about that first robot that you built. I've got some slides I could just refer back to as well while you're talking. But I was very interested to see your first robot and where things started out. So I'll just go over to there while you're speaking.
Yeah, so I was still in college, and it was. I mean, it's very different from what I do now.
Yeah.
I actually think that this role, if I will have to come back, there will be many things that I will have to learn to really make it work off. So you can see, like, it's just bits and metal parts put together.
Yeah.
It was fun because, I mean, there were some limitations of the design, like the size. In every robotic competition, they don't want you to go out beyond the size.
Yeah.
But they never limited the power. So that was fun because we were the only ones that brought this monstrous robot with 2 scooter motors.
Wow.
And it was pushing all. The objective of the tournament was whoever pushed more cans to a wall,
Yeah.
and then that wall opens and release balls, and then the more balls, the less points you get.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to build a wall of cans.
Yeah.
And for that you need power. So like many people were even like complaining, like, hey, why like this should not be allowed? And they were like, well, it fits in the box. Like, if you wanted to limit your robot by the parts we send you, but you also had an extra budget, you could always try something else. But then we had problems with the power. So we had super powerful motors that we were regulating just with resistance, and then it was getting super hot, and we were losing all the energy in heat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at least half of it. And then at the end, the last, we were in the semifinal, and the robot stopped because of the battery. It drained off. And yeah, like rookie mistake, like we learned, but it was fun. It was fun.
So tell me more about Otto and how that came about. What inspired that? What kind of got you first starting on it? And tell us about some memorable moments in that journey as well.
Yeah, Otto is the consequence of another project, which I also mentioned. Well, actually, the very, very first prototype of Otto, I have it here. I keep it,
wow,
like with my hair, I bring it from China and everything.
Wow,
this was the first. Now it's even called different. This is Tito.
Yeah.
So it's still the same architecture of mechanism, but it was with bigger motors. I mean, these are a Futaba.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember if these ones were original or not, but yeah, Futaba servos.
Yeah.
And it was with an Arduino Uno. So there's an Arduino Uno inside here. It's not that easy to open, but yeah, Arduino Uno, and lots of breadboard cables because I was not very into soldering at that time.
Yeah.
And there was no a shield to hold the servos. So that was the first prototype. And what it helped me a lot was the community itself. So there was this project called Zoe, which I actually had somewhere. It's very similar to Otto. Like, it was the main inspiration because it's also open source.
Yeah.
And it was also using these servos. But then when I built this one, I took it to a company called DF Robot, which is in Shanghai. I think you might seen some of their stuff. And they like it, but they say, like, you need use smaller motors. I mean, why do you want to engineer a robot that at the end is just going to dance, right? You're not going to push a weight or something. It was a very good point. And then I came back to the drawing board, and I also saw at that time there were already people, but it was only Spanish people because this robot is from Spain, from a mobile company.
Yeah.
And then the more I dig, the more I find out that there was another robot before that one. So I kind of started to research this source of inspiration after inspiration in the open source world. And I thought it was amazing. And I just wanted to be part of it. I wanted to put my input, and I say, okay, I'm going to do my own redesign, and I'm also going to give it to the world. Because as well as they gave it to me, I think it's fair.
Yeah.
And as you see now, that's seed the future of all the remix of Otto, because then I saw like we need to promote this more. I think it's amazing that I didn't have any experience about coding at that point. I didn't have I had experience about 3D modeling. That was very helpful, but
Yeah.
I just got into 3D printing. So of course I had to learn also that. I got myself a 3D printer and electronics plus. I was a little bit better at that time, but not enough.
Yeah.
And and I didn't know what components to use. So I just started to buy stuff. In China, it's amazing because you buy something and in the next 2 days you get it, and it's super cheap. And it's the last stuff. So I remember I got the nanos, I got the servos, and I was ready to build. And it took me like a month to make this new one. And it's pretty much what you guys saw, but it hasn't changed at all the shape outside. I mean, there are some details of like the intricate parts inside. I mean, now we are like in the 13 version, but it's the same size. It's the same type of wheels, legs. Sorry, we just have improved things here and there.
I like what you've done as well on the prints, so I can immediately see what version I printed out there, because inside it says version 9 just inside there.
I thought it was very important to have that.
Yeah. So
in case you want to go backwards.
I'm 4 versions behind, clearly there.
Well, but all of them technically work. It's just that maybe there's some detail that might need more adjustment, and some people were more comfortable. So I just decided to, I want to make the official one is always going to be towards easier to assemble. If some people prefer a version that looks better because of this screw is hidden or this, right? The files are still there. I mean, we are not going to delete them, and we just keep track of.
It's like the iPhones, isn't it? I got the new iPhone 13 last Friday. You can see there the camera's a little bit different. So the other one still works fine. It's just that the new one's that little bit better.
Well, as long as Apple doesn't shut down the service for the other one, right?
That's right. And this is the thing with the robots as well, isn't it? That people often don't see just how many iterations you go through before you get to the version of the product that they see, the version that they can download the files from and that they can try out. There might have been thousands of hours gone into that, just to get things just right. So I was looking, for example, at the legs, the feet, and then the foot component, and these are designed to work in any orientation, so you only have to have one foot design. So clever. Yeah.
So that helped a lot of 3D printing, and in the latest version we come back to the non-clever design, left and right. And the reason was because with so many people having problems that it was not fixed enough. So we were like, okay, well, let's come back, but let's make it more tight. So like it's just little details to make the assemble experience better. I mean, but it's still very relative. Sometimes I think myself like, was it a good change again? So I think that now we're kind of like settled, at least in the legs and the bodies, and we will just be updating if we change the board, if we have a new battery, things like that.
Yeah. Cool. So what are you working on now? Is there anything that you can share with me that you're working on currently?
Yeah, well, we have a bunch of projects. So one thing that we launched this year was the expansions. So we were always towards making auto modular.
Yeah.
So now if you want to, for example, unfortunately we took it to the Maker Faire, but if you want to make humanoid, you add parts. You don't need to 3D print. So you guys can check in the website or on the store. We have multiple expansions that allow. Actually, this one sort of shows it. It's just that it's a little smaller. You can see that it's like multiple levels of like rings that you just continue snapping into it. So, for example, I want to have this sensor and change it for button, or in the middle, I want to have the LED eyes. So then I take it out, change it. I want to have a OLED mount. I don't know if it's visible here, right? Or the LED matrix. So you can do. Or if you want to have it with wheels, then you can also have it. And something very cool that we are going to exclusively show, this is like the first time we're going to show it, and we're going to be sharing a lot, but exclusively in this channel, is Otto Ninja. So
Ninja.
Otto Ninja is the result of, as I work with a community member that was an auto inventor called Sebastian. He's from France and he is a great inventor. And now we're very happy that we can inspire other inventors to create our stuff and even try to make a product together. So like we can support the inventor and the company can, OttoDIY can also keep being alive and sustainable.
Yeah. And we'll showcase a video of Ninja towards the end of the stream as well. I'm so excited to share that with
let's
people
keep
as well.
Let's keep the excitement. Yeah,
It's so cool. It is so cool.
Idea.
You see it and you kind of go, oh, I want this. It's kind of got the Apple factor where you're like, I have to have this thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Happy to know that.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about some of the challenges. What's the greatest challenge you have when you're building robots?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I think the biggest challenge is having the right parts in front of you. And if you have the right parts, you can build a robot. You have the right tools, you don't need anything else. So the challenge is always having the right parts and as easier to use as possible. So like you don't need to solder this, solder that, check the wiring again. Like if everything was user friendly, you could build it just with one page of instruction manual, like an IKEA.
Yeah.
And that's all. And I believe that's possible even for the advanced robots like Boston Dynamics too and everything.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the things I really like about Otto is that you really put a lot of effort into the tutorial side and the guidance and making this really, really easy. And visually, it looks really nice as a guide. That was one of the things I was like, I want that for my robots. It looks so nice how you put it together. That IKEA thing, I can definitely see where that's come from.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So the next question, this is one that Ovi added to the list of questions for our interview. So I'm using a pretty standard set of questions that I'm interviewing all the makers that are going to be coming on the show. So he asked the question, how do you think the field of robotics will help improve both the lives and also on Earth? So how does it improve our lives and the lives of other people as well?
Yeah, I think it's already improving. I mean, we see it a lot, robots around us. Since the first Roomba, they have been vacuum our homes. We see them even in restaurants now. We see some of them even delivering food and stuff. And to mention like the actual manufacturing side, I mean, they have been making our cars, right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like a manufacturer that doesn't have a 6-degree arm for something, either soldering or welding or painting or something, like they are completely outdated. So like they are making our lives easier. I mean, it's like every technology, but somehow it's more enhanced in robotics because we always reference robots like very similar to us.
Yeah.
But I think that there's this misconception that it's always like they are competing with us. And actually, one of the most advanced things that they are doing now is when robots collaborate with humans. And that's like the most powerful thing you can have in certain tasks.
Yeah. So somebody's just asking there in the chat about, can you share the official website, please? So yes, if you go to OttoDIY.com, you'll find all the instructions, all the guides. You can buy a kit from there as well. And I'll put another link at that. There'll be one in the description for this video, but I'll also put another link up here in a moment as well. So yeah, OttoDIY, OttoDIY.com.
Yeah, I also put it in the comments just now.
Yeah.
We have Otto helping us in the comments.
Fantastic.
So you guys can ask stuff to him.
Yep. As soon as that pops up, I'll share that on screen. Also, cool. So what else have we got on here? So where do you think robotics will be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I see it being more and more advances in IoT and artificial intelligence. I think that it's going to be in more products that maybe we didn't even imagine that could have artificial intelligence. So I believe the problem is like now with the problem of the chips. I don't know if you guys know, but like since the situation of the coronavirus, the chips got more expensive.
Yeah.
And I believe that also delays new developments because before we were always in this club that things were getting faster and cheaper, or like more powerful um, microcontrollers and cheaper, you know. I think that now it's not like that. So maybe that will get stuck some of the new ideas that people and engineers are working on now,
Yeah.
which is 2 years in advance, I believe.
Yeah.
So that part we will have to see, but for sure more Internet of Things. I think those things will keep resonating.
Yeah.
Keep resonating.
And I understand the shortage actually is the substrate. It's the connection between the silica itself with the microprocessor sort of etched in it, and then all the copper connections that you normally see on a chip. That bit in between
Yeah.
the substrate. There's only about 3 or 4 companies in China who actually manufacture this substrate, and they are at max capacity.
It's actually in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
So yeah. So actually, one of the things why China is so desperate is because they don't, but Taiwan does.
Yeah.
I think also South Korea, if somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. But the ones that have the tiniest production of this silicon are in Taiwan. So also Europe and US are like depending on this particular factory in Taiwan.
Yeah. And I understand it's very expensive, isn't it, to manufacture that substrate? You need a couple of £1 billion worth of equipment because it's so small. It's
right.
Nanometers. Really small.
I was reading an article by the DoD magazine, and they were saying this is comparable to a space technology, basically.
Yeah.
So and I have no idea it was so complicated. So it's also interesting to learn that once like the source of all our technology can be in one place in a situation like this. That's why now they started to build more, but that takes years. I mean, you cannot build a factory like that. And then they have also the know-how.
Yeah.
They have the secrets of how to develop those things. So it's a lot.
All the experience with that. That's it.
Right.
So what I'll do now, I've got a couple more questions for you, but I'd like to play the Otto introduction video, and that'll just give people a flavour of what Otto is about. So I'll play that now, and we can have a look in the chat as well what other questions people have got.
Welcome to our demo video showcasing our product and how it works. OttoDIY currently has 2 product lines, Maker Kit and Builder Kit. As you see here, this is a time lapse of the unboxing of the Builder Kit that comes with the toy shell. The kit has all the necessary items in order to easily build Otto by following our manual guide. Our robot builders get an understanding on how electronic components work and how to connect them. Our Maker Kit, popular with 3D printing hobbyists, goes a step even further by allowing them to print their own Otto design or use from one of our many open source designs. Once your Otto is built, then comes the programming. Otto is compatible with both Blockly and Arduino, allowing you to plug and play different functions using sequence blocks. Super easy for kids, ages 7 and up, or adult beginners to understand the fundamentals of coding. There are hundreds of pre-made functions. Builders who are more advanced with coding can invent their own functions using C++ or Python. Command your Otto via our mobile app on both iOS and Android. Allows for a fun way to have your robot make actions, gestures, and even dance directly from your phone. In order to reach even more age groups, our new product Buddy, currently in our design stage, is for kids 4 and older. This allows them to learn sequence coding hands-on. We are excited to bring this to the market. We have 4K builders from all around the world, with hundreds inventing their own Ottos. This year, we did an Otto Remix Challenge where we had 80 Otto inventions submitted. Here are some of the cool examples from our community which inspired us to implement our Inventors program that is showcased in our proposal. You can even see some of these designs inspired our new Otto version 2.0, which allows for more fun extremities. Thus, more customizable solutions for our customers. Otto has been taught in educational clubs and schools across the world. We've done curriculum classes both on-site and online, which inspired us to create the vision of Otto Academy. Otto encompasses the ability to learn about design, engineering, and coding, which are important skills for the job market. Thank you for watching, and make sure to check us out at OttoDIY.com.
It's quite inspiring that there's so many cool things in that video that I just want to build myself, like the playing the xylophone there. That must have took a while to do.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's not that easy actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's so many cool things in that. So somebody was asking in the chat, let me just find it. I know it's Adam. He was asking about, is there an M5 stack version of Otto?
Yeah, I saw it a lot in Twitter for some reason, and there's a couple of YouTube videos. This is the version that I have seen less, but it's very fun because then it has the face of this M5, and they put nice emotions there, but it's not very well documented, or at least I haven't found one that it's like, oh, the files are here, the code is here. No, it seems like people first is posting, oh, look, I did this cool thing, but they didn't share their files maybe yet. Maybe they haven't finished the project, no idea.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see if the people like push that remix forward, and I will get an M5 myself because that's one of the things I want to get soon.
Yep, I'm just pulling out the M5 stack that I have. So yes, it will fit in there. It's the right kind of size, and
yeah. Well, some people just replace the whole face and use the M5 stack display as a robot face. You know, like that. Yeah, exactly. And that's valid. It's actually something we did with one of our latest creations last year. Was Otoki.
Oh wow!
That if you see it here, it's a PCB as a face, you know.
Yeah.
And then you connect stuff here on the side. You can connect here like inputs, and here the outputs. You have a little bit NeoPixel here, touch sensor. See, I touch it and then it dances or do something.
Yeah.
And
is that Lego on the top? Is that a Lego connector on the top as well?
Yeah. So we're playing a little bit, but we haven't really like make the potential of this. But it was always something that I wanted to add to Otto at some point in some remix, like compatibility with Lego. It's just that it doesn't look. At the end, it's just like, oh, I put a minifigure there. So it's not like it's going to expand the functionality, or maybe we need to rethink more of those.
Yeah.
There's always.
And there's another question we have from this time from Android Lover, and they say, we'd like to code a MakeCode version of Microbit to be updated. Is there any update on that, please?
So I think he's referring to one of the remixes called KittenBot, that it was made with one special shield.
Yeah. I think I have that.
Yeah, it's something that I had on the roadmap list.
Yeah.
And that I would like to jump on it myself. The thing is, I have also not seen many community doing it, but I would recommend to check out, like, there's a lot of Viper robots that are not necessarily Otto, that use the Microbit.
Yeah.
So technically we can just use that code. I just haven't had the time to really test it properly because I haven't found the best shield for it. The problem with Microbit is that you are in 3.3 volts, right? And then how to power it. If you want to make it portable, you need something.
Yeah.
So I see now more and more modules related to Microbit, which are very nice, and I would like to try them, and maybe it could be something else, because I know that Microbit is very popular in schools. But when we tried the KittenBot, like this rod, I think appeared in the video, the problem is it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. So people always think that Microbit is easy. And when you want to build a biped from Microbit, I can say it's more difficult than to build it from Arduino.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's more difficult.
Yeah, I found that with Microbit, it's running Python. It's not running MicroPython, and the libraries that they have available, I don't think it's the full set. You can get extensions and so on, but it is another closed ecosystem. So it's one of the areas I would like to develop more in. And certainly when I was looking at I've got a SMARS robot up there, one of the quad robots that's got the Microbit in there. And I had to build like behaviors in Python, so that when I say sort of move the arm this way, it knew exactly how to move the servo, what number of degrees, because then it was easier to build up the sequence of steps to say move front leg forward and so on. So yeah, so there's like a level of abstraction there that is a bit more complicated. And what I've seen in your Otto Blockly is the behaviors. So if you can say, walk forward or stand or dance or that kind of thing, you've already put in a lot of that behaviors in there, and you can just in the interface just click and change the expression on the face. There's quite a lot that goes in the scenes behind that, isn't there?
Exactly. I mean, if we wanted the microbit Otto to work, it will have to be like that. But then there's a lot of back-end work in the software part that honestly, I don't have the experience. I mean, Otto Blockly, I am not a software developer, and somehow, again, thanks to the open source community, find building on top of giants, as I say. Like we just find some repo that had something we could use, and then we just build on top of it. Now it looks like something completely unique. I mean, our Otto Blockly, I think, is very unique to any other Blockly I have seen.
Yeah.
And we are very happy with that, and all thanks to all the contributors, of course. And we keep injecting more and more stuff. And but that's why we're still busy with that side of Otto in the code.
Yeah.
If we are happy with some kind of 2.0 version, then we will have time to jump onto something, or no. Welcome to join us and help us do more stuff.
Absolutely.
We just need more people to.
Yeah, it's one big community, isn't it? And there's no barrier to entry there. People can join. Cool.
Totally.
Yeah. So a couple more questions, and then we'll play the ninja video, which I can't wait to show people.
I'm pretty sure many people wanted to see it.
Yeah.
As well.
So tell me a bit more about people that inspire you then. So, who are the kind of people that you think, I want to be more like them, or that kind of person inspires me?
Yeah, that's a good question, because to be honest, it's very difficult to find inspiration nowadays. I think I felt that I was more creative before. Maybe it's the age, I don't know, or the fact that you get more. The more you learn, the more you find the boundaries, and somehow you start to close into the box again. So trying to get out of the box, it's more difficult somehow when you have more experience, but you have to try. So I also find out that online, the internet has a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel pressure to do the competitor or other people doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A new robot every time, some of it even better than Otto, and it does all the stuff and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So I try to step back and just go for a walk, read more, try to read more ebooks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's not a secret source of inspiration. Every year I find inspiration in different stuff, different people, different, just experience. I think the best inspiration is the one that you grab from your life experience, because every life experience is unique. Yeah. So if you have inspiration from that uniqueness, you are going to create something unique, right? And that's the best way, either from your culture, either from a trip you had, a very emotional state of your life you had, push you to think different, those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I mean, I personally have a Trello board with all my ideas on for videos and for robots.
Oh yeah. So in terms of organizing ideas, I have this little notebook.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
that's for sure. If you have ideas, write them down. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I also have my orange book of awesomeness.
Right.
And you sort of sketch out ideas of things that you think might work or might not work. So when I was doing all my stuff to do the other week with
nice. Looks like a lot of geometry there.
There was lots of trigonometry in that one. I'm not quite there yet. This is the thing. Sometimes I'll put ideas in there that are way beyond my reach currently, but it's still something I want to do. So I'll leave it in there, and I know at some point in time I'll be able to come back to that, and then I'll have the skills to carry on with that.
Exactly. Actually, Ninja is this case, because telling a little bit of background now that you're going to show it. Yeah. As I mentioned, it was part of the Otto Inventor program. The Otto Inventor program, for the ones that don't know, it was a program to incentivize the community to become inventors of robots like Otto. Yeah. And the winner will get his creation in the Otto shop, the e-shop, and get royalties from the sale. So the winner was this Lee robot, and it was quite okay from the beginning. We managed to, the inventor managed to make like $200 like from royalties, and it could have been better because actually we didn't sell many as we expected. But then that triggered a lot of more people to come, and then that's when I saw Sebastian, the creator of Ninja, and we started to interact and find out that there was even more potential in his creation. I thought like, well, the Ultimate is program, but we can always continue. And I had similar chats with other inventors, but somehow this one grew up into this very cool robot that eventually we pilot in a Fab Lab at the end of last year. But eventually we got cut off with other duties, and we kind of like you, we let it hold. There was a lot of obstacles as well in terms of calibration and other stuff that we still have to solve.
Yeah.
But somehow now that things are getting back to normal, we come back and we are now more excited to launch it, and hopefully we will have it ready for this year's Christmas.
Fantastic. So I'm going to play the video now. We were just checking before the stream because I hadn't seen this video until about 10 minutes ago either. And there's some music on there which I think it's like copyrightable music. So what I'll do is I'll turn the sound down and I'll just play some other music which is Epidemic Sounds, which is what I use.
Yeah.
So
that works.
Yeah. But you can hum in your head the tune to 2001. The Blue Danube, and you'll get a flavour for that. I might slide up the volume for a second or two to give people an idea of what's going on there without getting a copyright strike. Cool. Okay, so let me just bring that up, and then I'll turn the volume down. So
Sebastian is in the chat, by the way, so maybe he can tell us if the video has copyright.
Yes, because YouTube are really quite on the ball with that.
Yeah, because we took it from his YouTube channel. I think it was okay, so but better not to risk, right?
That's right. Yeah, I think I get 3 strikes and they take my entire channel down.
Oh
and
no!
And you get demonetized as well. So yeah, it's something to think about.
Never mind. Just put another music. It's okay. What is important is what you will see.
Okay, so yeah, here's the world premiere of OttoDIY Ninja.
landing page that I will post in the comments.
So you've got a landing page, post in the comments.
Yeah, for Otto, it's the same as OttoDIY.com/ninja.
Awesome. So what do people think? I'm intrigued to know what people think about that. How clever is that
right.
to have the wheels on the feet that they can sort of switch? That's so awesome.
It's magic.
Yeah.
I still think it's magic because I tried to make it later with with the steel files. I couldn't make it work. So still magic, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and just how well balanced it was when it was sort of doing the pirouettes and.
Yeah. Well, that's a very remarkable calibration. So maybe.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking like, then one of your next calls. I don't know if you in your calendar. I will introduce you to Sebas. So like, he can tell. He has other cool robots that he can share. I'm pretty sure you will like them.
Oh, awesome. Yep, I'm all about the robots. Yep, so Android Lover says that that's incredible. Yep, I totally agree with that. Adam was saying Scotchy saw dancing. Absolutely. How well orchestrated was that when they were dancing? That was amazing, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I absolutely love that. Can't wait to sort of get my hands on that and have a print. So are you releasing the files as
yeah, we
open source?
will like eventually.
Yes.
The thing is, like, first we need to. One of the things I learned is like releasing the files too early leads to more trouble because people is gonna just be complaining.
Yeah.
So at least we will be like when we are sure, or maybe we will talk with the creator.
Yeah.
Maybe this version, which is the one in the video, we can pre-release.
Yeah.
Because actually the new version we are working on, which we can say is a Ninja 2.0, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But the principle is the same.
Yeah.
It folds like that and it walks. We are just like optimizing the 3D printing. We are making it easier to assemble, and it's gonna look more like a Ninja. Even more. You will see.
So I'm just taking my new print off the 3D printer there, and I just wanted to show people. I'll just tidy it up before I show you it. One of the really cool things I like is how the Otto attaches the head to the body. I think it's a really neat connection. So I've got the body here. I've not got any of the electronics in there yet. I could put the battery pack in, for example, just to show people kind of how that works. There you go, yeah. Now what's really cool is how the head, you just squeeze the sides and it fits into place. It's so cool. There's no screws required on that. It's just perfect.
It took a couple of iterations. Actually, the very first one, this one was with the screws. You can see it has like 2 screws. It looks like a Frankenstein with the bolts on the neck. And then the first one had 4 screws, and it was so difficult to assemble. And I'm always big fan of the snaps. And I studied them a lot in my career as a designer, and actually based on what 3D printing is, these snaps should have not worked because I print them in the direction of the layer.
Yes.
And that's a no to go.
Yeah.
But somehow I tested. I was like, well, let's see. The
it's
worst
pretty
thing
robust.
is that they break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty robust.
And it still works. So those are the things that you have to kind of challenge. Like everything you read online is not necessarily true until you test it yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can't remember how we do this bit now, but I've got some servos here. I've not got the servo horns, I don't think, to hand, but yeah, I've just got some little SG90s there as well that you put into the feet. And there's nice. 2 lots, isn't there? There's one that's sort of going to the base there that enable them to
you have to put it there. 4 servo motors. Right.
Yeah, and then there's another one which goes into the foot, sort of like that orientation, isn't it? So that when this slides into place there, it gives the foot that sort of orientation. Yeah. Yeah,
pretty much. You already did the leg in
I
5 seconds.
I love how it dances and how it can sort of move around. It's a really fun robot, and just the number of things that you've done to sort of enhance this and make it even more fun. So I like the fact that there is a speaker built in, so you can play music and do all kinds of alerts and sounds. That's really cool. And on that video that you were showing a minute ago, when you tap the top, that's pretty cool.
The touch sensor was another thing that I'm very big fan. I mean, I somehow like the fact that you can touch objects and they will react.
Yeah.
I thought that for a robot, it's very,
Yeah.
it's like a pet, like, and then having it, and then I found out that the touch sensors can be inside. I thought, and many people still think when they build Otto, they're like, oh, how come it can detect the being inside? And it's because of the capacitance has like a volume that can detect it.
Yeah.
So like I really like that you can add the touch sensor there.
Yeah. So Martin says awesome. Antonio says great.
Yeah. He says congratulations, Camilo. Great. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Sebastian
Thank you,
says,
Antonio. Gracias.
and Sebastian says he's got 2.0 in his hands right now. So jealous, Sebastian.
All right.
Can't wait to see that.
Let's create some hype.
Yeah. So Adam's saying, what's up with my connection? It might not be your connection, Adam. It might be my connection, to be fair. I have seen some alerts just come through on YouTube whilst we've been streaming. It just sort of says it's buffering and stuff. So you'll see the whole video. It just, every now and again, you might get a bit of a clip. And I can also see, for some reason, my MacBook Pro is not charging at the moment. And when it gets below 5%, it really gets bad. So I think we're pretty much done, actually, because it's about 25% at the moment. I don't want it to kill the thing, but yeah, absolutely. This has been one of the best shows I think we've done so far. I really love this. Really love meeting you as well, Camilo. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've had this on my wish board for so long, of just like, these are the things I want to do. I want to meet Camilo, speak to him about Otto, get people really excited about this, and using Otto and building their own and getting involved in the community and building all those different variants as well. So Android Lover was asking, is there a version of the Blockly interface for the microbit? I don't think there is there? Or
Good question. Actually, at the beginning we had it, but it was very basic.
Yeah.
And it had some bugs.
Yeah.
So I think better to use the one by Windows.
yeah,
I mean, if we try to make Blockly like super functional, that it does Python and it does this and that, it will take a lot of resources. It's possible,
yeah,
but we don't have the
yeah.
skills and the resources yet for that.
Yeah. And I think
hopefully in the future.
I mean, we could probably work on because at the end of the day, it's just pins, and it's just sending pins certain signals, commands. This amount of voltage or this amount of pulse width to turn a servo. So yeah, I'm sure we could expand upon the MakeCode library and do an extension, but it's not something I'm working on personally at the moment. But I know from my smiles, I keep looking over there because it's just hiding over there on the wall. In fact, if I just hold this up, I might be able to show just there. There's, oops, I can get the camera to go close to it. Just there is a microbit SMARS, and yeah, that microbit SMARS, put that back down now. I was working on using Microsoft MakeCode, and I came across quite a few quirky things on there that I've not come across before, and it's just to do with how there's kind of a standard with MicroPython about how you like set an LED to be on and things like that. There's certain conventions, and microbit, the Microsoft MakeCode microbit interface is not kind of standard, so it would mean reworking a lot of existing code just to make it work. But that's on my list of things to look at some point for SMARS robots too. So maybe we could look at that with Otto. And we talked about doing shared code between the two of them, and maybe some kind
actually in our repo we have some pre-work related of Otto with Python.
Yeah.
We just couldn't finish, and the guy that was doing it left somewhere. He stopped. And to be honest, I am very basic in Python. So like when you want to do, for the ones that don't know how it works, the servos, they work with oscillators, which is basically trigonometry algorithms. And then in order to do that, you have to have certain variables that maybe don't apply in Python.
Yeah.
So you will have to convert a lot of stuff. And actually people told me that the code is not really optimized, so it can be better. Yeah. But then that means rewriting it from scratch.
Yeah. And I found that with the robot that I built that's just at the very back there, which is the tic-tac-toe playing robot. somebody'd written code in that and added to it and changed it, and that was in Arduino. And when you set a pulse within an Arduino, it's a value between, I'm going to get this wrong now, between about 550 and 2,500 to make it go from 0 to 180. But on a microbit...
2,555, yes.
Yes, that's the one. Whereas on MicroPython, it's a value between about...
255, sorry.
Yeah. It's a different range of values. It's about 8,000 it goes up to.
It changes everything then.
It changes everything, and you have to start building mapping functions, and then it doesn't quite work the way you expect it to. So yeah, it does. It's not often as easy as just replacing some code in a different language. It can be quite a lot of extra work. So yeah, these are some of the challenges.
For me, it sounds like microbit is not very ideal for robotics. Like ROS will be, or like Arduino it is. I haven't seen many powerful microbit robots out there, to be honest. They always have these quirky motions, but they don't have like a smooth movement of the servos, which is what it makes it more like
Got one here
for the dancing and stuff,
Yeah, so I mean, one of the challenges I think is the fact that it has these edge connectors and you need something to plug it into. You can crocodile clip those 3 of them because you've got voltage and put it on that way you can see it.
Yeah.
Here you've got 3 volts and ground, so you've really only got 3 you could crocodile clip. Or if you've got the edge connector, you've got then
exactly
a number of extra
the one
pins.
we were using for the Otto Kitten
yes, Kitronics one is that?
It's like this. No, this is also from Kitten bot. So like this is from Senja, and what it has is like you already have the battery here.
Yeah.
The LiPo.
Yeah.
But then this it's huge, and then if you compare, you wouldn't fit it inside, right?
Yeah.
It barely will fit. We'll have to make it more fat, and it looks very strange, and then it loses the balance. So.
Yeah. So I have a similar one that's.
Okay, that one's similar.
This is a Kitronics one. And again, this is too wide. If I compare that to the size of a Otto, it's considerably wider.
That one is better. That's one that.
It's better, but it's still wider. You'd still have to adjust the design to make this fit. And this one doesn't have any servos on it. It's just motors. So again, you'd have to rework that a bit.
Yeah,
there are other ones available, but yeah.
Yeah, I find other ones smaller here, but I haven't had time to test them. So at least this one could have, but then you need to sort out the battery separately again.
Yeah.
So there's always something.
Cool. There is always more you can do. That's it. It's like what do we focus on next?
Yeah, right. I think the thing is like once you have this like little startup that needs to have some like constant flow of sustainable flow. Yeah. That it's for me to eat, and the people that help me, right? Yeah. That we also outsource. Then you need to focus on the things that give value, and in this case, we try to increase value for schools. Yeah. So we focus more on the educational part of what we already have. Yeah. Increasing, as you see, we build on our own software. We create our tutorials, videos, and stuff that really help to educate kids. And the thing is, like when we see that the robot, that if we try to create a new robot with a new technology, but this new technology make it more difficult to build, that's a no for us. Yeah. Because what we want is more people to have access to robotics, not to get more complicated with robotics. We want people that have no idea about robots to build robots. People to stop being afraid about robots. Every age, we focus on children mainly, but we see a lot of elders building Ottos and they are super happy. Yeah. So we also see the impact there.
Yeah. I was just trying to look around then to see if I have one of the kitten bots that Adam was talking about. It looks very much like a microbit from the bottom, but on the top you've got a nice screen. I don't know where I put mine. I bought one as a Microsoft arcade device, so it's there somewhere.
Well, I have here the head of of the Otto microphone. You can have an idea how it looks. It's not connected, but yeah. So it's this. It's just that it's black. I don't know if it's gonna be visible.
Yeah.
You put this one, and then it has the same legs as Otto.
Ah, yeah.
But when you compare, so you can have like the eyes there, but if you compare with this one,
Yeah.
it's
quite a bit bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more fat and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing I like about these standard, this version 9 I've got in front of me here, they are very robust. You know, you can drop this thing and it will stay in one piece. It's very robust. I wouldn't advise to drop it.
The thing that breaks easier is the motors if you have the SG90, but if you have the metal ones, I haven't break one myself yet.
Yeah.
If you drop it from the table too often.
That's it. Awesome. Well, look, I think we're a bit over time now, so we're going to have to wrap up the show, I think. But thank you so much for joining. Absolutely. For joining me today. And hopefully we'll be speaking again soon. So thanks, everybody, for joining the show, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks, Camilo. Thank you so much.
All right, see you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Regards to all the community.
Thanks. Bye for now.
For watching.